Hey, I'm Nina Raditich, and I'm here with Daryl Evans of Yokel Local, and we're talking Facebook's organic reach and all things Facebook for business. Daryl, I'm excited that you're here with me today. Thanks for agreeing to chat about this.
Thanks, Nina. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on your blog and your website. Hopefully, we'll share some great value with your audience today.
For sure. So let's kind of backtrack a little bit because a while back I had mentioned to you, and we talk a lot about business stuff, and I had mentioned to you, hey, I'm seeing Yokel Local's business page and your posts show up like crazy in my Facebook newsfeed. Obviously, I've liked the page, and I interact with it every now and again, but I was just really noticing that I was seeing a lot of posts in the newsfeed, and so I said something to you, and you said, hey, we've been sort of playing with some engagement stuff on Facebook, and with this myth or idea that is really sort of prevalent right now that Facebook organic reach is dead, I kind of wanted to find out what it was that you guys are doing and what your thoughts are on that. So tell me a little bit about that process and what you guys have been doing on your Facebook page.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning it. First of all, thanks for liking our page. I know you've got plenty of things to do throughout the day, and hopefully the posts aren't getting on your nerves. So I got to start with a mission of an admission of transparency. As a marketing agency, we've been in business now 5 years, and while we have been promoting our clients' businesses on Facebook now for going on 2 years, we actually just started our campaign on Facebook in December of 2014. And there's a funny story kind of behind that, in that I think it was 2012-ish, close to the time that Facebook went public, or maybe just after they went public, we received a phone call from their advertising outreach department, and they talked to us about our business and some of the options available with Facebook advertising. And as the call continued, we ended up determining, and Facebook said, hey, we're probably not the best platform for your type of business.
What?
So, exactly.
Like, wait a minute, that's what we do for people. What are you talking about?
Right. A little counterintuitive, right? I mean, I'm finishing lunch, and first of all, I was startled by the fact that it was Facebook. Of course, I picked up the phone kind of begrudgingly, thinking it was some spammer calling me.
Right. You're like, this isn't really Facebook.
Yeah, this ain't really Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And but what they said to me then, and what has changed since then, I think we'll start to uncover and peel back the layers today a little bit. But what has changed from then until now is what we started playing with. So your question was about the engagement, and so we began in December to really make Facebook a part of our strategy to develop an outreach for our business, develop leads, and start driving an audience for our business on Facebook. And we're going to talk probably about why some of those reasons, what some of those reasons are, and what we're doing. But the main reason you're seeing more of our posts today is because A, you are engaging with our posts. That's one reason. But B, we are posting a lot more frequently than we ever have. And I don't know if you want me to tell your audience now, but if I told you how many times we're posting per day and per week, it could actually shock some people.
I would say it's, what, 3 to 5 posts a day at least?
Yeah, we're up in the neighborhood of 7 a day right now.
Wow. And I think that gets a little bit intimidating for a lot of business owners who are thinking, oh my gosh, who has the time for that or the bandwidth for that? But a lot of the stuff that you're doing is also sharing from pages that get a lot of traffic, right?
Absolutely. So, going to this whole Facebook reach issue, I think if you look around the blogosphere and the marketing space, you'll hear that, Facebook is the big bad villain now because, for 3 and 4 years you could build your fan page for free and get a lot of reach and get a lot of free business exposure and a free audience and really just profit from your business. And I really laugh at that when I hear it because, who are we to think that Facebook doesn't have a right to make a profit, right? I mean, they're not a non-profit business. So what I say to a lot of people who say that is shame on us for thinking that Facebook is wrong. And so we just finished a 30-day program with Facebook where we were able to work with Facebook one-on-one for 30 days. And let me share with you what they said about reach. Today, a good organic reach on your page should be about 10%. So if you have 1,000 fans and 100 people are seeing your posts on a regular basis, and of course through your insights you can tell how many people are seeing your post. That's going to be the number that you want to shoot for. Some of the more engaging pages will be more in the 15, 20, 25% range. And if your page is really, rocking and rolling, you're going to exceed 30%. And so one of the things we did to increase engagement, and you alluded to it, and that is we began sharing posts that were already popular. And in the world of news media, they would call it curating content.
Right.
If we turn on CNN, or if we turn on ESPN, or if there's a breaking news story, and of course, Nina, you would know better than me with your background in the news media, that a story will start in one place and then it will end up in 1,000 places in no time.
Yeah. Newsjacking, essentially, right? Newsjacking, I mean, kind of getting to be part of the conversation that's already taking place.
That's correct. That's correct. So newsjacking, in this sense, is a great definition. What we just decided to do was follow pages that had a great content base for our audience that we knew our audience would enjoy. And while we can create our own content, and we do create some of our own content, about 50 to 60%, maybe 70% of the content we share is someone else's content that would parallel the interests of our audience. And as we continue to talk, we could talk more about audience insights and how I was able to determine which pages our fans would enjoy. And I want to share really quick that when we started this in December, our reach was essentially zero.
Okay.
Because we were posting a little, but we weren't, we didn't have this strategy in place. And I think before we got on this call, I checked before we got on the call, and we were at around 20% for the previous week in terms of engagement. So we're a little bit around that double what Facebook suggested to us. But we're watching pages that are at the 40% level and the 60 and 70% level. So we're sort of monitoring what some of these popular pages are doing and figuring out how we can work that into our strategy.
But you're not just sharing the posts that they put up. You put a yokel local spin on it. I mean, at least that's what I've noticed. You'll ask an engaging question, or you'll sort of say something. I mean, a lot of the stuff you guys share that I see, at least, and probably because I have an interest in it, but it's like the inspirational posts about business and, sort of about life. But you always add some sort of question or engagement piece, and I think that that's key. I think that that's what a lot of people forget when it comes to sharing other people's content. You're not going to get anywhere if you don't put your own spin on it, right?
You nailed it, Nina. You absolutely nailed it. And it's interesting that it is your fan page and your business's fan page, so you have to have a voice in all the content that you share, whether it's yours or whether you're sharing other popular content. And it could be a news story, it could be a motivational quote. One of the things I learned a few years ago, and this applies to blogging and really online media, but there are 7 major genres of topics that people follow, no matter what you do for a living, no matter what you do on Facebook. And one of them at the top of the list is personal development. Those people who are looking to do better in life, they're going to naturally be spending some time in personal development. Some of the other ones are fitness, and some of the other ones are news and things like that. But for us, personal development, and we speak mostly to entrepreneurs. I believe a large part of your audience are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
We speak to the entrepreneurial market and what types of things are pertinent to their mindset as they deal with their business every day, and the hurdles and life stresses and all those types of things. So we find that does get quite a bit of engagement. But we always ask a question or throw in something for engagement, as you said.
Do you worry about getting on? You kind of alluded to it a little bit before. Hope we're not getting annoying with all the stuff in your newsfeed. Do you worry about? Because I think a lot of people are, afraid to sort of put themselves out there, and this sort of applies to the entrepreneurs and the small business owners who have just started Facebook pages or sort of trying to kind of navigate these sort of new waters, if you will. They're worried about when it comes to sending too much email, or they're worried about putting out just too much content. How do you regulate that, Daryl?
It's a great point, and given that we went from producing literally no content on Facebook to producing, and this has been graduating scale. I think when we first started, we were maybe 15 to 17 posts per week. and then I moved it up to about 20 to 25 posts per week. I mean, the large part of the growth in the number of posts have really just taken shape over the last 3-4 weeks. To your question, what we know today is Facebook's only showing about 10% of your posts to your entire audience.
Yeah.
So if we look at the fact that not all of our audience, first of all, the 10% that we're going to see it, if I post right now and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon Pacific, only 10% of my audience is going to see it. But is that the same 10% that would be online at 5 o'clock and at 8 o'clock tonight?
No.
And at 7
totally
o'clock
different
in the morning?
audience, right? Yeah.
It's not likely to be the same audience. And so, and I cannot take credit for this, although I would like to and make it look like I'm the guru here, but I'm not. But I'm sure you're familiar with Guy Kawasaki.
Oh, love him. Yeah.
And Guy Kawasaki is the one who introduced this concept to me, or not to me, but he's introduced it in his brand new book. And he talked about the fact that because whether it's Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or Google+, everyone's not online at the same time. Mm-hmm. So it's no different than what CNN or ESPN does. I grew up on ESPN. I would get out of college, I'd get out of class at night, and I'd be sitting doing homework, and I would literally watch 3 hours of ESPN, but I'd see the same story 4 times.
Yeah.
Right? So they were catching the person who was able to watch the 7 to 8 o'clock show, and then the 9 to 10 o'clock show, then the 11 to 12 o'clock show. Just so happened I was doing a lot of homework, so I catch all 3 shows. So he steals from that idea, and I think it's very relevant. And when I heard it, it hit me instantly because I was an ESPN consumer for quite some years. Whether it's, last night, I'm a big Food Network fan. I watched the same episode of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
I love that show. Yeah.
With Guy Fieri. And I watched the same episode last night, and I've watched it before, probably twice.
Yeah.
So I think if you understand your audience and understand the timing is not there, that the timing is going, you can't just post the same piece 4 times in the same day. Mm-hmm. But I believe if you take the idea that Facebook's only going to show 10% of your content anyway, then posting more frequently just seems to make sense to me. And so far, by the way, we always monitor whether people are hiding our posts or if they are complaining about our posts. And thus far, we have had literally no complaints. I mean, 1 here or 1 there, but nothing compared to the volume. So that's what you have to monitor is, are you really getting on people's nerves? They'll complain.
Right, it's true, and you can find all that out with negative feedback and things and insights. It's really easy to, like you said, to monitor that. Very important as a business to monitor that. So talk about the flip side of that. How has it improved your business, improved visibility? What has it done for you business-wise? Because I think that's what people always say to me, well, what can I expect results-wise? What is this going to do for my business?
Yeah. I'll tell you that our strategy is a long-term strategy, and I would say to your audience and to really anyone who is starting with Facebook, whether it's our clients, Facebook isn't a money machine. It's not Google pay-per-click, where you can just put the money into advertising or put the time in on posting and expect an immediate return. What I will tell you, though, are a couple of things. Number one, we use Facebook as an audience curator. That's what we are working to build. We're working to build an audience of people who are fans of Yoka Local, who like what we share, who want to give us feedback about how we can help them, whether it's free or paid. So that's our mindset. Number one is to build an audience of people who like our brand.
It's a community, right? You're trying to build a community.
Right. I want to share an example. You're familiar with HubSpot, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Love HubSpot.
Famous platform, right? So I studied their social media following, and across all of their platforms, they average about 400,000 fans. They've got 700,000 on Facebook. I think they've got 300,000 or 400,000 on Twitter. But as a business, they have 12,000 or 13,000 customers. And what that says to me is that they have an audience who love the product or love the brand, but are not necessarily customers. And so as we are working to extend our reach in social media, it isn't just about having fans in a community who buy our stuff. It's fans who like what you're doing in the marketplace and the goodwill that you're putting in the marketplace. So our strategy is to provide goodwill to the marketplace, to the types of clients that we work with. And if you don't happen to be the type of business owner to buy from us or hire us as an agency, that's perfectly fine, because we realize in our business model, 92% of businesses are not interested in hiring an agency like ours. 8% are. Mm-hmm. And we only focused on the 8%, we could really be short-sighting our goals. But let me get to some economics. Our goal from December till now has just been to build fans and then increase our engagement. So we haven't had an economic desire. We haven't had a monetary goal.
Right.
What we have just started doing are bringing people from Facebook to our website and getting them on our email list, which gives us some leads to start talking to them in a different way.
Absolutely.
On our email list.
Yeah.
So what's interesting, and this is what we found with our clients that led us to start this with us, we are getting about 5% of everyone who leaves Facebook and makes it over to our website. And not all of your fans will leave Facebook and come to your website, but about 5% of the people who leave Facebook and come to our website will become a lead and join our email list. And if I share what it is from Google, you might be surprised, because a large part of our volume in our website traffic comes from Google. Only 2% of people from Google become a lead for our business.
Interesting.
Now, the difference is there's a lot more volume from Google.
Right.
So you've got to keep that in perspective. And I'll tell you that one of our clients is getting 13% of their Facebook traffic to come to their website and become a lead or identify themselves in some way in their lead funnel. And these numbers are staggering to us. And so that's what made us start digging in. We know we're not talking to a buyer per se who's looking for a problem on Facebook, so it's about providing good information and the various things that you've seen us posting. So our goal as a company is to keep building leads from Facebook and then work towards moving them through different parts of our sales funnel, through our email, through webinars and things like that we're going to do down the road.
So get in front of them. So you're using social media to get in front of people, and then expose your brand to them, and then you're bringing them into your funnel, so to speak, to nurture those leads and see where they lead. I mean, I think that that's a really smart strategy, and one that a lot of businesses they don't really understand. Oops, I just hit the microphone. They really don't understand the concept of that and what social media is so good for. Not to mention some of the things that you probably don't even realize are happening because you're reaching so many people with those posts. How many of those people are telling their friends about you without ever mentioning that they telling you that they saw it on Facebook, but that's probably where they saw you in the first place, right?
Yeah, I think if we look at the Super Bowl, and we just passed the Super Bowl a couple of weeks ago, businesses are paying $4 million to run a 30-second commercial today. I think that was a number, just over $4 million. Did I say B? I meant million with an M.
Yeah.
And so why would a business do that? Well, it's because of the sheer number of eyeballs that are watching the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And if you look at Facebook today, Facebook is the largest social network and has the eyeballs of the greatest number of people in their off hours, meaning when they're not at work or when they're not tied with the kids and when they're not doing recreational things, people are on Facebook. And so that is, to me, the most powerful platform in terms of where eyeballs are today. And then because of their targeting and demographics and psychographic data that they've collected, which is just absolutely out of control.
It's mind-blowing.
That is where, you can sift and sort to really find your audience, and that's what has changed from what it was 2 years ago. Today, we are now able to sift and sort and get in front of people who like what we're saying and what we're doing, not to say that they're buying right away, but we know that they will buy as we get them from the community side of Facebook and get them over to our website and get them into our email newsletter and our email follow-up processes.
Talk to me then about a new business or somebody who's a little bit behind the curve when it comes to social media, because a lot of social media so-called experts might tell these folks, look, it takes forever to build your Facebook page now. It's a different landscape when it comes to Facebook. I mean, it used to be you could really build up a fan base quickly. Now, based on what you're saying and based on what a lot of I've seen and tried as well on Facebook, it does take a comprehensive content strategy to do just that, and a lot of people aren't willing to put in the time to do that. So what is your advice for the folks that are, like I said, a little bit behind the curve or haven't gotten their business on Facebook yet? Invest the time in a business page. Is it worth it?
Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. I just, a few minutes ago, I started to allude to it. Facebook is and again, not to downplay Google or SEO or Google pay-per-click or video ads on YouTube, those are all valid. But what I will tell you is Facebook, for the small business owner, in most cases, it's one of the most economical platforms to begin to broaden your business brand and develop business. When you're starting brand new, the first thing I think you can do on Facebook is just begin with a long-term mindset and say that I'm going to make Facebook work. Yeah, it's going to be complex and confusing, and there's a lot moving and a lot of moving parts, but first thing is always mindset. We run across business owners all the time that they want sort of the lottery mentality. They have this, what can I do today to get business today? Well, that probably isn't going to work on Facebook. It's going to be a fast road to frustration if that's the mindset. So first thing is mindset. Develop a mindset that I'm going to tweak and modify my Facebook strategy as time goes on, and Facebook changes every week. I know our advisor with Facebook.
It's crazy.
He said every Monday he comes in, there's something new that he has to learn. This is inside Facebook. So just be prepared for the change. It's going to happen. One thing is constant in life: taxes and change. Death, taxes, and change, I think is what they say.
Yeah.
So embrace the change. But the second thing, when you're starting brand new, Facebook provides something called audience insights. And if you will let me embellish, I want to give you an example, because I spent hours in this tool, and I think it's one of the best places for a small business to begin. I'm going to take a customer. Let's take a fitness company that is, let's say they want to bring in new members to their gym. What we know about Facebook and what Facebook users tell Facebook, we tell them what we're interested in. Well, Facebook has been collecting data for years. So they're this big data company now that a lot of people don't quite understand. But if you go into Audience Insights, and you can find that right inside the Ads Manager on the left-hand side, you just click Audience Insights, and you can begin to sift and sort based on who you know your target audience is. So if I'm running a fitness club, and let's say that I'm targeting individuals that are 30 to 50 years old. Let's say I'm targeting people that are maybe working out currently at the Las Vegas Athletic Club. Maybe they're working out at Lifetime Fitness. Maybe they're working out at Gold's Gym. Well, I can go in and I can enter those pages and find out what their fan page audience insights look like, and start to map out or flesh out who I should be targeting my ads to. So let's just take a quick example. We work with a fitness organization here in town, and their primary member is a woman, female. And primarily they're 30 years old to 50 years old. They tend to make a little better than average income. They tend to be married. They tend to already like Pilates, yoga, and CrossFit. So we were able to flesh out by Audience Insights what the ideal customer looked like. So what we were able to do then is take this buyer profile or take this member profile for their organization, and then go structure our ads around these types of interests that we were able to find from other fan pages that were very successful, who we knew had members in their club who looked like our members. So when we moved it over to ads, we were instantly able to start growing the number of fans on their page. We were instantly able to get engagement from the post. They were already doing a great job with engagement, so we didn't have to really tweak anything there.
Yeah.
And then once we ran a campaign where the first 10 days or so we would run and acquire new fans. We would then move to engagement and make sure that the posts were engaging those new fans. And then in the last 10 days of the month, we would always promote an offer. So we worked with them to make sure they had an offer. And usually it was a free workout, or it could be some free fitness apparel in the club if they came in for a walkthrough in the gym to take a look at the membership. And we would then run the offer for just a free visit to the club or a free tour of the club. And we ran that campaign for 5 or 6 months. And quite frankly, we got fired because they figured out what we were doing.
They were like, we can do this ourselves.
They were like, and that's fine. We realized that's okay because we teach our clients what to do. We know that we're not going to be in relationships for years and years necessarily. Yeah. So what we were able to do was turn, and I want to say the last month's numbers, we spent, or should I say the company spent $170 on the campaign. So let's talk economics. So they spent $170 on the campaign. That included our fees. for that window of time.
That's a very low budget.
And then they had a first month revenue of $350, and of course it's recurring revenue. So annualized, they would have $2,630 in revenue. So that was a $170 investment. It was an immediate 2-to-1 ROI. And then they have a month-to-month membership program, so there's no guarantee they'll stay for a year.
Yeah.
But they did say that their average customer stays 7 months. So if you factored out 7 months, their ROI was 800, 900, 1,000, 1,100%. It was, I forget the numbers off the top of my head, but 170, and they probably would have made $1,000, $1,200, $1,300 on just that one campaign. But
imagine if they scaled that campaign, Daryl. I mean, imagine if they took that campaign and started at $170. Oh, look, it's working. Let's just add a little bit of money, and that's and that is a phenomenal strategy. Add a little bit of money each week to that campaign as it continues to work, and then the ROI is going to be through the roof.
Yeah, and in their case, they're a local business, so scaling is certainly a potential there, but we also had to be careful because we know that not everyone would, most of their new members would come from within a certain mile radius, which is another great thing about Facebook.
Yeah.
You can make sure that people that are most likely to become your customer see your ad, and those who are not likely to see your, if the particular location was St. Rose and Eastern in the south side of town, I don't care how good the club is. No one living in North Las Vegas is driving all the way to that club.
No.
So So there is some scalability there, and but it is somewhat limited in the fact that they are a location-based business. Now, if you're
But that's the amazing part about Facebook that I think is so cool, is that you can get your ads in front of those people that live in that area specifically. And you can really, because you can target so granularly, you can speak to those people directly. You're seeing this ad because you live in 8914 whatever, right? I mean, you can really be specific about it and say, look, we're in front of you for a reason. You've shown interest in what we have to offer, and B, you're in the same geographical area that we're targeting.
Absolutely. And that's what puts Facebook at the top of the list for us today and for almost every client we engage with or talk to, whether they're the business that's thinking about hiring us or one that is just getting started, and we just make sure that they understand the power of Facebook. And I believe, Nina, that Facebook's just getting started. They just went public in October of 2012, if my memory serves me correctly. We are recording this right now in February of 2015. If you look at Google AdWords has started in 2002 and is still a viable platform and is still continuing to evolve. And here we are 13 years later after Google AdWords. And so for anyone who thinks that, well, they've missed the boat on Facebook, or Facebook reach has changed the game and maybe I should not even invest my time. We're talking about a platform from an advertising standpoint, and now that they're public, let's make sure we understand they have to deliver profits.
Yes.
And profits are only going to come in most cases from Facebook, I believe, through the advertising platform. So they're going to have to continue to tweak and modify and make it more user-friendly for the small business, the medium-sized business, and I think that's a home run for any business that's getting started today, or maybe they shelved Facebook a couple of years ago and said, I'm not going to bother with it. They should really think to get back involved.
Yeah, rethink that strategy for sure. I love the idea that it's about a mindset too, because I think that there are some unrealistic expectations that many business owners have placed on social media, because they've heard, oh, it's all the rage, and there's just been so much talk about the power of social media. And it's not that social media isn't powerful, it's just that you do need to understand that it's a marathon and not a sprint. And I think that sort of making sure that mindset is in place before you or I start working with a client, I think that's really, really crucial for them to see the results that they want to see.
Yeah, you nailed it. We hear it all the time. You've heard it. I've heard it. That they're, how do you ROI social? What's the return on investment of social? And you mentioned something earlier about the amount of time it takes to put together good content. At the end of the day, we're in a content economy. I mean, if we're watching American Idol, we are consuming content. If we're watching, the Food Network, we're consuming content. The reason why the Food Network, and again, I'm sorry to pigeonhole the Food Network, but that's a show that
you love the Food Network.
I spend a little time there. But it's interesting because they're always coming out with new shows.
Yeah.
There's always a new show. There's always something else. Bobby Flay's got this new show. Guy's got this new shopping game now. You got Alton Brown with the new Chopped Kitchen, or not Chopped, I'm sorry, Chopped is there, but now they've got Chopped Canada. I mean, I could go on and on from years ago. They've kept adding shows.
Mm-hmm.
So a business owner has to understand that they have to continually invest in content that their audience wants to see. Otherwise, the audience will get stale, and they will leave to find fresh content. Imagine, as idiotic as it may sound, imagine if the American Idol just kept playing reruns of season 1.
Yeah, no, it's not going to work.
I mean, not, you know,
yeah.
No one's good. You know, it's going to fail. So, in digital media, we have the unique ability, and today I think it's even we have the power to produce our own content in a way without a gatekeeper. And so, I think we take that for granted. I mean, Nina, you spent years and years behind the camera in the media room. If it didn't come from you, we didn't hear it. We couldn't produce it. And
Yes.
today, we look at how much content hits the news stream from iPhones and from, you know, these smartphones, from being on the scene. And, you know, and I think you could share, you know, that you could give some insights as to how that changed the news industry from your perspective.
Yeah.
We as a business owner, we have so much power with the ability to use a digital platform for free or very low cost, and build an audience, build a platform. We can write books, we can create music CDs, we can create videos today with absolutely no hindrance to the institution, if you will. But yeah, we have to have a strategy. We have to understand what the long-term mindset is and what the long-term play is, and that will depend on the type of business that you're in. I mean, if we were selling T-shirts, I mean, we could sell stuff today on Facebook. We don't sell T-shirts.
Yeah.
So for me to put my offer out there and say, hey, hire a marketing agency on Facebook, it's digital suicide probably for us, and maybe in your consultancy, you know, it might be the same. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and I think you hit something that I'll use to wrap this up, Daryl, that's really, really key in that business owners are in such a really unique position in this century and in this digital age that we get to control the message. And to not take advantage of that and to not capitalize on the various platforms that allow you to share the message that you so desperately want everyone to hear in order to do business with you and build that community and build that audience of people who want to buy from you, really you're doing yourself a disservice to not take advantage of that. So, I mean, I think that's a really, really key point, that we are so lucky to live in this age where we don't have to rely on outside media to spread the message for us, to tell our stories for us. We can tell our own stories. That's the best thing about it, isn't it?
Absolutely. You couldn't have summarized that any better. That was spot on.
I love it. Daryl Evans of Yoco Local, I totally appreciate you spending some time with me today. Fun discussion, huh?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. We can do it anytime. I'm sure we could go for hours, but
we could go for hours, you and me.
We could. But,
so hopefully people haven't tuned out at this point. But yeah, I'm gonna have you on again. This was fun, and be good. All right.
Awesome. Thank you, Nina.
Right.
Appreciate
Take care,
it.
Daryl. Bye.
Talk to you later.